Well, good afternoon, everybody. We are welcoming the Smith family to their new home, and I am joined by Director Laura Zeilinger, Gabrielle Alvarez, who represents the owner of this home, and our friends from the Smith companies, and of course, Miss Smith and her beautiful children. And we were together last year at this time celebrating a DHS initiative called Home for the Holidays. And Home for the Holidays is a initiative obviously around the holiday season, but it exemplifies the work that DHS does with DC families every day of the year and every season of the year. During last year's Home for the Holidays, for example, we set a goal of matching 400 households who are exiting homelessness into permanent housing, and we exceeded that goal by 22. So this year we increased our goal to housing and matching 450 families and individuals. And today, when the Smith family receives their keys in just a few moments, they will become the 217th household that our team has moved during this year's campaign. And we're not done yet. Tomorrow, for example, 30 additional families will sign a lease and bring us even closer to our goal. And we have been able to do that because of the hardworking staff at DHS, for the homeowner community and landlord community who has worked hand in hand with us to make our processes more efficient and to make our programs work for DC families. We have been very focused, of course, on moving families from homelessness to housing. We're also focused on how we are revamping our singles, our individuals program, providing a new daytime services center downtown, and much, much more. But this is an exciting time because Miss Smith will be signing her lease today, and Laura Zeilinger is going to tell us all about it.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Bowser. It is really the leadership of the mayor and of course our partnership with council and so many people in the community that allows us to do this incredible and very exciting and important work on behalf of residents. And I especially appreciate you coming out once again to join us and to increase visibility. People ask all of the time, how can we help be a part of the solution for families and individuals who experience homelessness? And we love the ability this time of year to really highlight and provide those opportunities for people who have places they know of to rent or to rent themselves, or have household items they would like to provide to households who are moving in. We're very excited to make sure that we can welcome people, and we love being able to welcome them in this kind of way with the right furnishings and the ability to just kind of settle in to a new home. So we know that the Smith families had a long journey to get here, and I am especially honored to celebrate a new beginning with you today, and I cannot wait for you to make your way through your house and see the wonderful way in which it has been set up for you. And we know that families at some point experience crises in their lives, families with means in our community, and families who need to rely on the government to help them when things happen. But it is a human experience that sometimes we have a crisis, and it is so important that we're able to come together and to provide solutions effectively and quickly to help people get settled back in. And that is something that we have been working on. And I want to especially just acknowledge that most of us in those times of crisis do not get in front of the cameras and go on TV. And this family's been generous enough to invite you into their brand new home on their first day, and to demonstrate their experience and in a way that is very brave. And I want to just acknowledge and appreciate that. And so during the holiday season, starting just before Thanksgiving and ending in a couple of weeks after the New Year, with our partners at AOBA and the landlord community. We work very hard to make sure that as many families as possible are able to make their way home, and I want to acknowledge those partnerships. And I also want to acknowledge that sometimes when we have large families with lots of children and we need larger units, that can be the most challenging, and homelessness can extend even longer than usual. So being able to identify larger units is something that's been especially challenging for us, and William C. Smith has been particularly fantastic partner in helping us provide these types of opportunities as well, and want to acknowledge their partnership in Soho Investment Group. William C. Smith has also helped us build a new program, Building Bridges Across the River, to really provide a whole array of supports and programming and resources for families as they're moving in. So as we continue this work, we continue to be able to offer more and more to help people get settled more quickly. So with all of that said, I'm going to come to what is probably the more exciting and interesting part of this, and allow you to be a part with us of where the Smith family is going to sign their lease, get their keys, and so that this place is officially their home. So with that, I'm going to just step out of the way. I'm going to invite you, Ms. Smith, around the table, and we will go ahead and start the lease signing. And if kids, you can stay comfortable, or you can move around behind your mom. It's up to you.
You gotta know before. Walking back about. There you go. Yeah, good. All right. Coming down. Hey, if I good. Okay then. And just down further. Yeah, right there. Good. Yep. Can we spread out so that we can see the actual signing?
Yeah.
With the kids around the side. Kids on the side.
Sure.
Little girl.
Come around, guys. Can you come around the other side?
Beautiful.
That's great. Can you see right there? Good.
Mom, can you step up to the mic for us?
No, it's okay. You don't have to. Yeah, it's okay.
Laura, you taking questions?
Yes, I'm happy to answer any questions if you'd like.
Any questions? Mark,
Georgia, can you tell us and help us out with the distinction that this is a permanent home for this family, is that correct?
That's correct.
As opposed to what I think we're used to is the typical voucher renewal process, this is different. Can you?
So this family has a voucher. They had a voucher through the housing authority, and experienced a challenge in the with the housing they were in, and were able to bring that voucher with them to subsidize this unit. But when so they were experienced an episode of homelessness in between, but they will have long-term affordability with the subsidy that they have from the housing authority in this unit.
But I'm trying to determine the distinction between a permanent voucher and a temporary voucher.
So we also provide subsidies through the Rapid Rehousing Program for people who need short to medium-term help with their rent while they're getting back on their feet, increasing their earnings. So depending on the situation that families come to us with, we have different types of subsidies that help them to exit homelessness and lease up in permanent housing. And sometimes, but families with all different types of sources of income have crises, and it is our job of the homeless system to support them through them.
I know this family has a voucher different than rapid rehousing, but can you talk about the transition from rapid rehousing to sustaining rent on their own? I understand there are counselors that work with families.
Sure, absolutely. So Of course. So in all of our programs, we are supporting families with case management during an episode of homelessness in shelter and as they transition out. And it's really about what that family needs and wants. And so in rapid rehousing, families are assigned case management. The case managers are working with them to both identify housing, to get settled into that housing, ensuring they have ways of understanding how to get their kids to school, and to engage in building their income so that they're able to maintain housing in the long run. We, on average, provide housing support through rapid rehousing for about a year, but we continue to assess throughout that what the needs are of that family. Some families will transition to a longer-term subsidy to a permanent voucher from rapid rehousing, and some families are able to build their income in a way that they are able to sustain themselves in housing without additional assistance. But rapid rehousing is our main resource that helps us support families to exit shelter. So our goal in Homeward DC, our homeless plan, is to make homelessness rare, brief, and non-recurring. And we are making it more rare. We have fewer families entering homelessness than at any other time. We are making it more and more brief by more quickly helping families exit. And they are, no matter what the subsidy program is that they're exiting with, fewer families are returning to homelessness. And so that is the way that we're reaching our goals.
Can I ask you about the need to have more landlords step up to the plate? I know there are still hundreds of families waiting for homes.
Absolutely.
And so what is the city going to do to incentivize these landlords to welcome people into their buildings?
Well, first I want to acknowledge the work that we have done over the last 2 years, getting to this point actually, and listening to our landlords to see what they need so that they are more willing to open up their properties to our residents and our residents who are using one or more of our programs. And one thing that we started this year was a fund that a landlord who enters one of our programs will know that if for some reason it doesn't work out, or there's damage to the property or non-rent payment, that they can go to that fund to make themselves or that property whole. So that's one very specific thing that they have worked on. There's some other smaller things that are making a big difference into leasing up faster that Director Zeilinger can talk a little bit more about. But we listened to our landlords. They told us specifically how we could work better with them and therefore get people into housing faster. And Laura can tell you about some of those fixes.
We've done some work to really come together with all of the different entities who are working on behalf of families, so it's a more streamlined process, and there are less, people, instead of several people calling the same landlord looking for units for people, we are really doing a lot more coordination. For rapid rehousing, the landlord receives one source of rent, which is a payment that's made on DHS's behalf by the Housing Authority, and then the Housing Authority is collecting the tenant rent so that that landlords don't have to receive rent from two different sources. That also allows the program to know if a family is struggling with their portion of the rent payment and really have case managers work with them much more quickly about if they've had any loss of income and their budgeting, so that we are preventing people from incurring rent debt while they're trying to get back on their feet. And that's been one of the most meaningful things and helpful things that we've been able to do with our housing partners. It's also providing much more clarity around what do the services need to look like. And really, we continue to look at how do we make more meaningful connection to our workforce programs so that families are increasing their earnings with the stability of housing under them. We operate a housing first system, and we know that housing is so essential for people to be able to meet the goals that they have for themselves, to be able to build their skills, to be able to, if they are looking for a job, to get a job. And that's really the whole philosophy behind the continuum of programs that we offer.
And can you just talk about, Mayor, a little bit? Obviously, the Home for the Holidays program is an amazing program, and you've beaten your goal last year of how many families
you're going to house. But there are critics who say that it feels like a temporary fix rather than a permanent solution, because we do have people who are not making their rent requirements and who are going back into homelessness. Can you talk about your goals to approach that in this year with this home for the holidays and this rapid rehousing?
I don't know what you mean. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Some of the critics that we have spoken to feel that the rapid rehousing program feels like a temporary fix.
Laura has already addressed rapid rehousing. I don't think we have anything else to add.
Anything else?
Muriel Bowser, can you reflect for us just on, your administration places families all year long.
Yes.
From homelessness to housing.
Yes.
Can you reflect on why it's important to have this push during the holiday season, and then just on when you see a family of 7 kids who are now never going to have to worry about homelessness again?
You asked several things. So yes, we house people throughout the year, despite the fact that our law requires that we provide shelter only during hypothermia season. We took a big leap in doing that, and Director Zylander made an incredible argument to me, and I in turn made that argument to the council to help fund that initiative. The logic is simple. People experience emergencies throughout the year, not just when it's cold outside. And if we are able to give them all the services of our system throughout the year, we have a better chance of serving them in a way that's most effective for their families. And what we have seen is that has worked. In 2014, and Laura will remember the numbers better, we had more people, for example, right during this time that were coming in our homeless services system than we do this winter season, and that's because they're being better served throughout the year. So that's important. Why do we focus on the holidays? And I should say, and I meant to say more clearly when I started speaking, DHS is doing this every single day of the year. We do get a lot more attention from you guys around the holiday season. And quite frankly, everybody is in the spirit of doing a little bit more for people who need a little bit more. And this program has helped. But also when we package programs, we do other packages of programs like Alley Palooza and other kind of blitz programs that we do throughout the year. It helps us learn how to make our systems more efficient for every single day of the year. So in addition, the attention that you are providing us, there's one person out there, one provider out there who didn't know how our system works and may sign up to be a part of our system. And Laura already talked about we have a special need for larger size units throughout the year as well for large families, and they are harder because there are fewer of them. So we continue to spread the word out to our provider community, single family homeowners who are renting, that we like to talk to you and work with you because you can also help a family be home for the holidays. Thank you, everybody. Yes.
Say a few words.
No, I'm answering the questions. Thank you.
I know that the family doesn't want to speak. Could you just talk to us a little bit about what the moment was like telling them we found you this home for the holidays and what that obviously...
Well, that's probably one of our staff at DHS who had that experience, but maybe Laura can share. I don't know if they're here who actually had that experience.
So I'll just, on behalf of the department, say that there is nothing like seeing through the eyes of families the joy and the relief at having a place that is home. We all take for granted what it's like when you get home at the end of the day and put your key in that lock and turn it and hear that click and walk into what is your own space. And so many people don't have that, don't have a place of their own where they're able to make their rules and live in their way, in their space. And it's an amazing feeling. And so it is something that we are reminds us how lucky we are that we don't have to think about what that feels like when people get to do that for the first time. And we know it's joyful and wonderful, and it's something we all can feel good about because this is a community that really does take care of our own.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.